सपोज एलिगेशन दुरुस्त है, सपोज क्या ये जिस तरीके से एलिगेशन बयान की गई हैं, जिस तरीके से तकरीर, क्या ये एक जज के लिए मुनासिब था? ये तो ओपिनियन उनकी ये थी कि चूंकि ये कर नहीं सकते थे।
सर इसमें हुआ ये, there was only one hearing in camera done, nothing else was
ये
ever
तो डिनाइल नहीं आपकी तरफ से कि तकरीर हुई थी,
जी
तकरीर हुई थी, ये डिनाइल तो नहीं है।
नहीं
वो ये
तकरीर का डिनाइल नहीं
सर, तकरीर का डिनाइल नहीं है।
But देखिए, there are two kinds of speeches, ना? I mean, क्या is a judge not allowed to make a speech?
Yes.
देखिए, I think we should not forget the facts. The fact is not making of the speech. If it's making of the speech, then probably half the superior judiciary will have to go home, because how many judges have made to the bar council's speeches? I mean, these are not so.
That speech was made before a bar
No. So it's not a question of mere making of a speech. It's the content of the speech. I think both go together. Now it depends what I say. If I say there should be, I go and tomorrow I make speeches, independence of the judiciary, this, that, the other, fine. I may even canvass a view which is different. But if I make allegation against someone, so I think you can't disconnect the two things. It's the nature of the allegation. Because I would say if otherwise, then we will have to read that Article 19 is not available to judges.
That's what
I mean, okay, you may not agree with the judge's point of view, fine. I mean, but you remove him on that ground. The code of conduct doesn't say you can't make a speech. So on it, I don't think there's anything wrong per se in making a speech. Now, if you make some speech and you launch a vicious attack or loaded attack or whatever you want to call it, that we cannot disconnect with it. We have to read it, see it together. I mean, I can't just say, oh, making of a speech. I mean, making of a speech is your right. Anybody's right.
And
I mean, it's not exact.
District Bar Association.
By the way, you may be interested to know
public,
the United Kingdom, which is so conservative, judges give interviews. I mean, it's House of Lords. I mean, those restraints have far gone, and judges of the American Supreme Court, as judges of the Supreme Court, Justice Stephen Breyer and Justice Scalia's debates,
all make public.
Debates were pretty vicious on various law schools they were given. So let's connect it with the speech. Now, nobody's taking us to the next level. What do we do? Can we personally ourselves inquire into the matter?
Sir, one thing which I just want to point out, there were a number of speeches made by Justice Kiani which was published.
I agree with you on that.
Very clearly.
No, I agree with you. It will be, I think it is connected with the content.
Yes.
भाई अगर आपने बिला वजह ऐसे इल्जाम लगा दिए to another I don't want to use the word institution, but it's important.
Yes.
Whatever department of the government आप कह लें, जो भी आप कहना चाहें. So naturally, it is not a nice matter. But if they are true, it changes, I think, the complexion of the matter.
Sir, page 70 अगर देख लीजिएगा, this is
solution मैं आपको ही नहीं बता रहा.
नहीं सर, solution तो ये है कि इस वक्त ये जो order है president का based upon the report of the Supreme Judicial Council need to be quashed.
देखें, Ahmed Khan Sahib, it's not so simple. Then we'll be faced with an allegation that the Supreme Court threw Khwaja Saab's clients under the bus and saved one of their own. Again, we have to be very fair to both sides, because you made allegation targeting specific persons. So if we quash it, that effectively means that all that you said was true without an inquiry, one way or the other. Now, how can we, what do we do then?
So then the answer can be, I'm just making a humble submission, that let this order of the president be quashed, let the report be also quashed, and let the matter be remanded back to the Supreme Judicial Council to hold an inquiry.
Can this order be passed?
I believe so.
नहीं हमें असिस्ट करें इस
लेकिन
बात पे।
अगर सुप्रीम जुडिशियल काउंसिल बगैर इंक्वायरी के रिकमेंड कर देती है रिमूवल ऑफ
No, okay. Are you saying it's inherent in fundamental rights and due process?
Yes.
Power of remand. Can you remand the matter to the Supreme Judicial Council?
that can be consequential on the requestment of the order. It can be.
ख्वाजा साहब आप क्या कहते हैं इस
There are
point पे?
two ways.
नहीं, let's see. ख्वाजा साहब is a senior counsel. Let's see what his view is. Can we remand the matter to the Supreme Judicial Council or we can't?
My Lord, may I very humbly make a submission? It cannot be done because now there is nothing for the Supreme Judicial Council
Mike,
to
sir.
inquire into because the petitioner's tenure has already expired. He is no longer, it goes back, he would no longer be a judge to be considered for purposes of removal, which is the function of the Supreme Judicial Council. So it does not fall within the functions of the Supreme Judicial Council at this stage. This is what my very humble submission.
So what is the solution? None?
This matter requires the determination or
No,
not?
let's suppose we, for sake of argument, don't take it amiss, that we set aside the order.
Your Lordship.
That means that that's implied in the order that all that he said, the judge, when he was a judge, was true. So you are condemned. Won't you be condemned?
It doesn't imply that, my Lord.
Why?
May I very
Then you
humbly-
say everything I said was true, therefore the order was set aside?
Yes. What he said, my Lord, so far as the allegations against specific persons are concerned, they came up for the first time before the Supreme Judicial Council.
No, he's been saying it from day one.
No, he hasn't. The specific allegations against persons, by naming them and naming the incidents also, they never figured in the speech, they never figured in the preliminary reply that was given to the Supreme Judicial Council. It was in the second reply, that additional reply that...
No, but one way or the other, why didn't the Supreme Judicial Council say something on it? They could have asked him, say it on oath.
Yes. What did the Supreme...
I don't know, I called you to cross-examine him. I don't know, whatever way.
I'll make a submission. What the Supreme Judicial Council did was, they asked for the then Chief Justice of Islamabad High Court for his reply on the allegations that were made by the petitioner vis-à-vis him. And he denied all those allegations.
But it's one denial,
I'm just speaking.
one assertion.
Yeah. No, but more importantly, may I make a submission? I'd said that before also, and I'm trying to be as balanced.
See, you can't just say because he's Chief Justice, I believe him, and because he's a simple judge, I disbelieve him. That's no...
Now we come back to the speech itself. The sole ground on which the matter against the petitioner could have been sustained, this order can be sustained, is if this Honorable Court comes to the conclusion that that speech per se was sufficient for his removal because it came within the definition of misconduct.
Are you suggesting a judge cannot give a speech to a bar counsel?
No. What I'm making a submission, may I make a mistake? Irrespective of whether it was true or not what the petitioner said, irrespective of that, because it maligned the judiciary as a whole.
How does it malign the judiciary?
Let's go through the speech itself, if your Lordship would.
No,
and it maligned the Army Institute, the armed forces.
He is maligning you.
No, not in the speech. In the speech, it is the armed forces, it is the judiciary. They are the judges of the Islamabad High Court.
Suppose the allegations are true, then what will happen?
Even then,
Who will be mad?
even then, the petitioner should